Cleveland Browns fans just got hit with a shocker. Former NFL player Chris Canty has caught head coach Kevin Stefanski in a lie, and this one could change how fans view the team's leadership. According to Canty's breakdown, Stefanski has been publicly preaching about developing his young quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, but behind the scenes, his actions tell a completely different story. The truth is, one of the Browns' most promising young talents isn't being developed at all. Canty didn't mince words. He exposed Stefanski for contradicting himself, playing favorites, and mismanaging a key part of Cleveland's future. And now, that revelation is making Browns fans ask a hard question. Can they still trust their head coach?
Early this morning, Chris Canty dropped a bombshell on Kevin Stefanski for the lies that he's telling about Shedeur Sanders, and you don't want to miss. But we're going to unpack all that here next. And this stuff with Shedeur Sanders is not going to go away no time soon. Now, I want y'all to pay attention and take a listen to what Chris Canty said this morning, where he exposed all the lies of Kevin Stefanski dealing with Shedeur Sanders, and you won't believe what he just said. Take a listen.
Is there any issue with the backup not getting first-team snaps here when Dillon Gabriel's your starter?
I thought that Kevin Stefanski said earlier in the year that he is focused on the development of all of his young quarterbacks. Isn't that what he said? He was focused on the development of Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. That's what he got us. And now we're at the place where you're not going to get Shedeur reps. You're not going to prepare him for the games, knowing that he could be the number 2 quarterback, knowing that he's one hit away from going in. How does that make sense?
What's normal
From a readiness standpoint, how does that make sense? Usually a backup quarterback will get 15 to 20% of the reps in practice with the first team.
With the first team? Okay.
Yeah, just so he's prepared to go in the game if he has to, right? So if you have a team period of 12 snaps, the backup quarterback will get 2 to 3. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is abnormal that
The fact that he's not is weird, and I don't understand it.
Let's start with what Stefanski said and what he's actually doing. Not long ago, the Browns head coach made a confident statement that he was committed to the development of all his young quarterbacks. It sounded great. Fans took it as a sign that both Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel would get the proper attention and preparation they deserve. But according to multiple inside reports, that claim was false. While Stefanski made it sound like Shedeur was an active part of the Browns' offensive development plan, he hasn't been getting any first-team reps at all in practice, not even a small share. For those who understand how NFL practices work, that's extremely unusual. Normally, a backup quarterback, especially a talented rookie, receives somewhere between 15 and 20% of first-team snaps every week. That keeps him ready to step in at a moment's notice if the starter goes down.
From a mental standpoint, you don't want to shake the confidence of your young quarterback in Dillon Gabriel, especially since he's been uneven across his first 3 starts.
Yes.
So maybe there is a little bit of protecting him to keep him from looking over his shoulder when it comes to the Shedeur of it all, because the media is clamoring for it. The fan base certainly wants to see it. Everybody wants number 12 in a Browns jersey to get out there so they can see what he wants to do, because he is one of the most polarizing figures in the NFL, mostly through no fault of his own. So maybe this is Kevin Stefanski trying to shield Dillon Gabriel from all of that. But to that, I would say, if you're that worried about the fragility of his mental state, then he's probably not your franchise quarterback anyway.
Yeah, that would surprise me if that is the route that they were taking, because Dillon Gabriel, if you're the starter, you're always going to have a backup. If you don't perform well, there's always going to be people in the media and in the fans on social media clamoring for someone else. That's something that comes with the territory if you're going to be a franchise quarterback.
So, when insiders revealed that Shedeur Sanders wasn't getting a single rep with the starters, it raised immediate red flags. If the team truly believes in developing all its young QBs, why is Shedeur being frozen out completely?
I mean, with a young quarterback with Dillon starting, you want to make sure he gets a lot of the reps. Different when you have a veteran like Joe, I would tell you, but still getting reps in a bunch of periods.
What's interesting is that on a day like today, And if you missed any of the first hour of the show, go back on the podcast here on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. We talked a ton about the unbelievable performance by Wemby last night, 40 points, about the Knicks win over the Cavs, opening night kind of in the NBA, as Shaq called it on Inside the NBA here on ESPN, Tron, the real opening night, Thursday night football, Lamar coming back to practice, that a backup quarterback in Cleveland.
The contradiction between Stefanski's words and his actions is what fueled Canty's exposure. He called out Stefanski for saying one thing in public and doing the opposite in private, a move that suggests dishonesty or, at the very least, manipulation. The problem here isn't just about a few missed practice reps. It's about trust, preparation, and opportunity. By keeping Shedeur off the field, Stefanski isn't just slowing his development. He's sending a message to both players and fans that not everyone is being treated fairly. In the NFL, backup quarterbacks are one hit away from being on the field. They need those first-team reps to understand the timing, chemistry, and flow of the offense. Denying that preparation means if the starter struggles or gets injured, the backup will be forced into action completely cold. That's a dangerous gamble for any team, but especially for the Browns, who have already faced quarterback uncertainty year after year. So what's the motive behind all of this? Canty offered a theory, and it makes a lot of sense. He believes that Stefanski is trying to protect Dillon Gabriel, the current starter, from feeling pressure. Gabriel's performances over the first few weeks have been rocky at best. He's shown flashes of ability, but he's also made costly mistakes and struggled with consistency. Instead of allowing competition to push Gabriel to improve, Stefanski seems to be shielding him. By keeping Shedeur Sanders out of the spotlight and off the field, Stefanski ensures Gabriel doesn't feel threatened by a younger, talented quarterback waiting in the wings. But here's the issue. If your starter's confidence is so fragile that fair competition could break him, is he really your franchise quarterback? That's the exact question analysts and fans are asking. Protecting Gabriel's ego may save short-term comfort, but it comes at the expense of long-term development and possibly the team's future.
Two rookie quarterbacks, the one that's starting has only had 3 games. I don't see that Dillon Gabriel is on the hot seat. I don't see that maybe this is his last start. I don't see that they're going to use the season to get reps for both of them. Every indication is they feel, for better or worse, they feel like Dillon Gabriel gives them the better option now and later, and thus he's the starting quarterback.
Look at those stats. Completion percentage, 31st in the league. Passing yard attempts, 27th in the league. Passing touchdowns, 35th in the league. Total QBR, 33rd in the league. Second worst among 34 qualified quarterbacks. What are we talking about? Dillon Gabriel has not come up on the scene and lit it up.
If this was just about perception, fans might let it slide. But the numbers completely destroy the idea that Dillon Gabriel deserves unchallenged starter treatment. Through his first few starts, Gabriel's performance ranks among the worst in the league. Completion percentage, 59.8%, 31st out of 34 qualified quarterbacks. Total QBR, 30. 33rd in the NFL. Those are not the numbers of a rising star. Those are the numbers of a struggling quarterback who should be fighting to keep his job. Yet, despite the poor production, Stefanski continues to defend Gabriel publicly while refusing to give Shedeur a single meaningful opportunity. That's not development. That's damage control. And Browns fans can see right through it.